Live from London, this is BBC News. Ukraine claims to have hit more than 40 Russian bombers in what it calls a large-scale special operation. This comes after the deadly collapse of 2 bridges in Russia overnight.
We are seconds away from hearing we're seconds away from hearing the exit polls, and let's have a look. It seems like Rafael Trzaskowski is calling it. I'm just going to say this is an exit poll, 15.3% to Rafael Trzaskowski, 49.7% to Karol Nawrocki. Caveating all of this, this is an exit poll, a huge margin of error.
Conflicting accounts of an Israeli attack on an aid distribution centre in Gaza. Medics say they've received dozens of gunshot casualties, many of them dead on arrival. French police are investigating whether 2 deaths are linked to chaotic celebrations following Paris Saint-Germain's victory in the Champions League last night. Hello, I'm Emma Vardy. Voting has closed in Poland's presidential election and exit polls are set to drop any second. Candidates right now are gathering in their respective headquarters with party faithful, waiting for a sign as to who might win this crucial leadership race. Well, Kasia Badera is among them, joining the team behind Rafael Trzaskowski. Kasia, you can say it much better than I, the mayor of Warsaw at the Polish National Museum of Ethnography.
Well, listen, if the exit polls hold true, then he's no longer the former mayor, he will be the future president of Poland. But look, the margin is so tight. I'm just having a look, it's literally just breaking. So the exit polls are suggesting that Trzaskowski has got 50.3%, Nawrocki 49.7%. So we are talking about a huge, incredibly tight, huge margin of error. These are the exit polls. I'm caveating that this isn't the official result. We'll potentially only get that in the morning. Very, very high turnout. But look, Rafael Trzaskowski is speaking now. I hope we can cross over and just have a little listen to what he says. He's sounding very confident. The crowd certainly is in his HQ. Let's listen in.
We will win. We will win.
Zwyciężymy i
We will
ocalimy
win.
Polskę.
And we will have
Pozwolimy na to, aby
Poland.
domknęła się władza Donalda Tuska. I aby
And
monopol
we will
władzy,
end the power of Donald
złej,
Tusk.
Władzy, która nie dba o finanse publiczne.
This
Władzy,
government
która zabiera
who
nam
doesn't
wielkie
care
marzenia
about
i
public
zabiera
finances.
nam aspiracje. Aby ten
That
monopol się nie
God,
domknął, my
that
w nocy
we want to
musimy
finish and end this
zwyciężyć i wiemy,
monopoly.
że tak się stanie. To
And it will
specyficzne
happen.
wybory. Jedyne takie po 89
This
roku.
is
I
the
dlatego chcę
only
wam wszystkim
Polish elections
podziękować.
after
Z głębi
1989
mojego serca
when
chcę bardzo
people are so
podziękować
active
obywatelkom
in
i
expressing
obywatelom
their
państwa polskiego.
electoral
I
right.
powiedzieć, że
And I
udały nam się co najmniej
wanted to
dwie
say
rzeczy
that we
w całej
succeeded
kampanii
in at least
wyborczej
2
przez te
things.
ostatnie 6 miesięcy. Przede wszystkim nie daliśmy
First
się
of all,
złamać.
they didn't break us. They did not break us. That's the first thing.
Zabrali pieniądze,
They took our money.
napuścili instytucje państwa polskiego,
They
kłamali,
were lying and lying and lying.
a wy byliście cały
And
czas ze mną i
you
byliśmy
were with
razem
me all the
przez
time.
6 miesięcy tego
Through 6
mocnego boju o Polskę.
months of this
Wielki
battle for
szacunek
Poland.
dla was wszystkich. Dla
And
tych,
I want to
którzy
thank you all.
rozwieszali banery, którzy wpłacali
You will,
środki finansowe,
you
których
did everything.
spotykałem
You were
na drogach,
hanging
których
banners. You were
spotykałem
waving
na wiecach
flags.
w ponad 300 miejscach w całej Polsce.
And
Jesteście wspaniali, a my
you are
jesteśmy
absolutely amazing.
dzielnym, dumnym narodem, który
And
kocha
you
swoją
are
wolność
such
i
a
nigdy jej
proud
nie pozwoli
people.
oddać. Jesteście tego najlepszym
You
dowodem.
are
Bardzo wam
the
serdecznie
best example
dziękuję,
of
że
our
byliście
people.
i
Thank you
jesteście
so
ze mną.
much. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you.
Udała nam się jeszcze jedna tak bardzo
One
ważna
thing was
rzecz, która
successful
zostanie
for
z
us,
nami na kolejne miesiące i
which
na kolejne
will
lata.
stay with us
Udało nam się
for months.
zjednoczyć.
We
Cały
managed
obóz
to
patriotyczny
unite
w
the
Polsce.
whole
Cały
patriotic
obóz
community
ludzi,
of
którzy chcą
Poland.
Polski normalnej, chcą Polski
We
bez
want
nielegalnych
normal Poland.
migrantów, Polski
We want
bezpiecznej.
modern
Udało nam
Poland.
się
We want
zjednoczyć
secure
wszystkich
Poland.
tych, którzy chcą bezpieczeństwa
And we
socjalnego,
want
społecznego.
also social
Udało nam się
security.
to w ciągu tych 6 miesięcy,
And all these
aby
6
wszyscy
months we were
patrioci,
fighting
wszyscy ludzie, którzy
that
Polskę
all the
kochają,
people who
nie
love
oddadzą
Poland,
Polski, byli razem. Tego
they get
wspólnie
together
dowiedliśmy w tych
and they unite.
ostatnich 6 miesiącach,
And
więc
that was
dziękuję
our
tym
family for the last
wszystkim,
6
którzy są
months.
od samego początku ze mną.
And
Ale
you were
dziękujemy też
with me
tym,
straight from the
którzy
start.
stanęli za Polską już w drugiej turze wyborów.
And you
Niesłychanie istotne. Oczywiście spokojnie, ja sobie dam radę, naprawdę, kochani.
So we're with the Rafał Trzaskowski camp, and he is feeling really confident. He is sounding really strong. But I'm going to caveat everything by saying that this is an exit poll. The margin of error is really, really close, within 1%. So we need the official result. But this confidence here that we're hearing from him, they're saying they've won it, but we have to keep
To jest
caveating.
naprawdę
This is
szczególny
just
moment
an exit
w
poll.
historii Polski.
It is
Ja jestem
still
przekonany,
too
że
close,
pomoże
but
nam to
Rafał
wszystkim
Trzaskowski, as he is
jak torpeda
speaking
do
now,
przodu.
let's just have a
Wydaje mi
little
się,
listen in. I
przede
hope we've got
wszystkim
translation.
Na tym mi bardzo zależało w całej tej kampanii, żeby wszystkim Polkom i Polakom
For
powiedzieć,
Poland.
że
And
ja
I'm
będę łączył,
convinced
ja będę budował.
that
Naprawdę
it
będę
will
prezydentem
help us to move ahead like torpedo. And everything depends on us. I want to say thank you. And I want to tell you and reassure you that I will launch things, I will build things, and I will be your president. Rafał, chanting the candidate's first name.
Drodzy Państwo,
Dear friends,
Ja będę łączył, ja będę budował.
dla
Naprawdę
zachowania
będę prezydentem
in order to preserve the continuity, it's very important. Yeah, I always learn. And I never learned through the campaign. Oh, I don't want to thank you for thousands and thousands of meetings and handshakes and conversations that you entrusted me with being your representative and someone who will bring your aspirations and your wishes and your desires to life. I'm really, I regret that this campaign is over. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Those conversations, it's the conversations of the whole Poland. The conversations which are going on for many years, not just during the campaign of the last 8 months. I wanted to meet everyone on my way to presidency, and I will not let you down. Dear friends, of course, at the end, I want to say something important. Through all this campaign, I was telling that we have to rebuild our society. The results show how close we are to our dream. And first thing that the new president of Poland will do, I will reach out to everyone who didn't support me during the campaign. I will offer them my hand, and I promise
Wyniki pokazują, jak jest
And I
niesamowicie
promise you,
I uważam, że pierwszym najważniejszym
even
zadaniem prezydenta Rzeczypospolitej
I will definitely be your president, and I will do everything
nie zagłosowali.
in order to achieve the normal, quiet conversation with all of you, because I love all the Poles.
Obiecuję wam, a nawet uroczyście ślubuję, że będę również waszym prezydentem i zrobię wszystko, żebyśmy mogli
Dear friends,
zdolność normalnej, spokojnej rozmowy.
I know
Bo
that,
ja
first of
będę
all,
prezydentem
that
wszystkich Polek i
I
wszystkich
I
Polaków.
promise you all, if everything will be confirmed, we'll start our work immediately. And we will lead to a beautiful future, that Poland will be a beautiful country for everyone. I promise you this. This is true. This slogan has a deep sense. If I win, Poland wins.
Zabieramy się od razu do roboty i będziemy pracowali na waszą rzecz i doprowadzimy do tego, żeby Polska była wielka, zasobna, żeby była dla wszystkich, żeby wszyscy się zabrali w tę podróż ku przyszłości. Obiecuję to wam i naprawdę ten slogan miał głęboki, głęboki sens. Wygrała cała Polska!
So we just heard there Rafał Trzaskowski saying if he'll win, because I'm going to continue to caveat this. This is an exit poll. It's a 0.6 percentage point difference. The margin of error is well, it's really, really could potentially. It's hard to call. Listen, this is Wawrzyniec Smoczyński. He's from the New Community Foundation, an NGO. You've been looking at Polish politics forever. He's sounding confident, but we've got to keep caveating. This is an exit poll. We're not going to get the official result yet. We're still waiting on the foreign count, but my goodness, he is sounding so confident.
Yeah, it seems like he is assuming that the foreign vote, people from the Polish diaspora who have voted abroad, will actually deliver the final victory, because the current difference is 0.6 percentage points. We have to remember that the exit poll in this election has a margin of error of full 2 percentage points. So assuming this is the national result, I believe that the Trzaskowski team simply assumes that the additional votes coming in, which have not been counted in the exit poll yet, from abroad will actually make him the final winner. We haven't heard yet a concession speech from the opposing candidate, Karol Nawrocki, but judging by political practice and by the strength and the emotion of this declaration, it seems that the team is sure that they are going to go into the presidential palace.
But my goodness, you know, you're talking about a 0.6 percentage point difference, and it's been, the whole campaign has been incredibly tight. We can finally talk about opinion polls. They were always so tight. It was impossible to call this election.
I think they have more knowledge than we have. This has been a very tight race indeed, unexpectedly tight for the new, probably elected president. They haven't expected such a difficult victory, but they seem to have achieved it. We are going to see a late poll in 2 hours' time, which will start including the initial results from electoral districts, and the final counted vote will be probably announced somewhere between morning and noon Monday.
So we're just caveating it, but I mean the party's begun already, but we need to caveat the margin of error it's within the margin of error. We're waiting for another exit poll, and we're also waiting for official confirmation. But Wawrzyniec, this has been such a bitter campaign. It's been pretty ugly, actually. It's been very divisive, and the country is incredibly polarised given that result. If that does prove true, it's been neck and neck throughout the whole campaign.
This result confirms what we know from our research in our foundation, that Poland is one of the most divided countries in Europe, around the EU. And what we are seeing in the initial results is that big cities where liberal pro-European elites live, and the west of the country and people living abroad from Poland have voted largely for Trzaskowski. People living in the rural areas on the eastern flank of the country, especially particularly farmers and elderly people, have voted in higher numbers for Karol Nawrocki, the conservative candidate. As you said, this is a clash between two visions of the country, one which is more oriented towards the EU, more trustful towards international cooperation, towards European integration to some extent, and towards European policies. And the other, which is more conservative, people for whom tradition is more important, for whom religion to some extent is important, but also who cling to a word that they know in the face of all that uncertainty we are having now. So this presidency will be about burying the hatchet and trying to alleviate those divisions.
And what a hatchet to bury. My understanding is that Jarosław Kaczyński is speaking right now, and he's the brainchild behind the Law and Justice Party, the party that was supporting Karol Nawrocki. I hope we can listen in, because this is the man that has done, arguably one can say, quite a lot to polarise this country with his view of the direction of travel for this nation. I hope we can listen in to Jarosław Kaczyński.
We are following someone who will be president of Poland. And this road is absolutely against what Donald Tusk is doing. It's against the wishes of the Polish people. And it's against all of that. That's we cannot achieve any results. And of course, and I am deeply convinced that it won't happen the way they want it to happen. And we know that it could be different results, and I believe in this. And I believe that we will be a power, and I believe in the future of Poland. And we don't have to wait for it. Like we were waiting from December 1971, before the next election, 3 elections in 1989. And we could only, our victory could be prevented only by a fatal incident. I thank you all, but most of all, I want to say thank you to the people surrounding our candidate. I want to thank Piotr Milowański, Piotr and Paweł. It's like Peter and Paul. Of course, there were other amazing people surrounding this campaign. Other unnamed heroes were involved and showing their courage and skills. And we will celebrate when Karol Nawrocki will become a president of Poland. And we will walk this way, and we will win.
So that was, of course, Karol Nawrocki, and he is hoping, he's banking on the official vote to go his way, because the exit polls are massively within a margin of error, 0.6%. So it's incredibly tight. They're waiting for the Polish Electoral Commission to complete the full votes. We just saw there in Nawrocki's camp Jarosław Kaczyński, the brainchild behind the Law and Justice Party, who has been spearheading this. Interesting that he is there because towards the end of the campaign, he wasn't often with Nawrocki. This has been such a divisive campaign. But here in Trzaskowski's HQ, it really feels like they've done it. But like I keep saying, it is a margin of error. We have to wait for the official counting of the votes, and that's going to happen overnight. But that's why Nawrocki was saying they need to wait for the night. They need the night in which to win it. But it feels like here the Civic Platform team feel like they've done it. And this is really important because so far from the 2023 parliamentary elections, when the Civic Platform formed a coalition, they had been hampered by President Andrzej Duda. They couldn't get their different policies through because the presidency has the power of the veto. And arguably now, with a president from the same team, singing from the same hymn sheet as Donald Tusk, this is a government and a presidency that are really going to be able to move full throttle and continue with this vision of Poland, a Poland aligned with the EU. I'm just going to bring in my guest here, Babrzyngiec Smoczyński, before you sit down and get comfortable, because this is just for our viewers. We've seen two different Polands being shown, and Trzaskowski more aligned with the EU. Of course, Donald Tusk used to be within the European Commission. Here, the European Council rather, here we've got one vision of Poland. Nawrocki's is very, very different. We can't call who's president yet.
Especially as Nawrocki hasn't conceded and he is saying we are going to sit out this night and sit out the final results. So we are just in one camp. The other camp is not saying you have won. So as you said, it's a totally different vision of Poland. It's one which is more conservative, more skeptical of EU integration, of big European countries working together with Poland, more concentrated on building up defenses around conservative values, family values. All that has been important to PIS. But what is crucially important for the Law and Justice Party? What is crucial for Law and Justice, aside from the political, ideological agenda, is also blocking the legislative agenda of Mr. Donald Tusk, the Prime Minister. They know that in the past 2 years, since the President has been conservative, the current Liberal government hasn't been able to pass any new laws. They haven't been able to roll back the purported reforms of the justice system, so kind of re-establish the rule of law as it was before the Kaczynski rule. So they cling very much to that office because they know that if they have the presidential office, Law and Justice, they will be able to block the power of the current Prime Minister.
But I have to say, though, given just how tight this is, and if the exit polls are true, it's a really divided country. And we saw throughout the campaign how Rafał Trzaskowski, he was actually starting to lean quite to the right. He was trying to get those right of centre votes, because after the first round of the presidential elections, 52% of the voting population were actually voting right and far right. So this is going to be of concern for the government.
There were two candidates which also were important in the first round. One which was a nationalist candidate and the other who was also outright anti-Semitic. So we were very surprised in the country that those two candidates went up so high. They were in the third and the fourth spot. So clearly the country has moved towards the right in terms of public sentiment. But in response to that result of the first round, there has been a wide mobilization of the liberal big city vote, plus the foreign vote, which probably will give the final victory to Trzaskowski, or at least that's the assumption of their camp. But what is interesting also about this campaign is that the candidate running against Trzaskowski was largely, well, not unknown, but he was not a big political figure. He was the director of the Institute of National Remembrance, and a national office tasked with reviewing crimes against the Polish nation and doing historical inquiries. But by and large, he was an activist of the Law and Justice Party, not a big-time experienced political figure, and still he managed to drive in a very high result. So it blends also with this protest vote against big city elites against the candidate who just won, who is a well-educated man with a lot of experience in European politics. All that played against Trzaskowski in this election, paradoxically, because it mobilized a part of the electorate which is reluctant to support more EU and a more pro-Western stance. But, you know, this is an internal battle which we are having in the country about the future, where how much towards the West we want to go. But by and large, this election, if confirmed in the late poll, in the final results tomorrow, will show that Poland is taking a renewed move towards Europe and deepening its ties with the West, and deciding also to be an important player in European politics.
Wawrzyniec, thank you so much for just talking us through all of that. Wawrzyniec Smoczyński there, who's been following Polish politics for such a long time, on this breaking news that the exit polls are showing a 0.6 increase for Rafał Trzaskowski. Caveating these are exit polls, we are awaiting the official result of who will be Poland's president.